Let us now discuss the thermal aspect of the diode. Recall that we had calculated the power loss within the diode. We estimated power loss within the diode from the electrical parameters of current and the voltage across the diode. So let me draw this diode and let us have a current IAK flowing through the diode. Assume that at the terminals of the diode there are external circuits connected and there is a resulting current IAK flowing through the diode. This means that there is power loss in the diode. So the power loss emanates from the junction of the diode. So we can visualize in this fashion. So let's say at the junction, the innermost part, the diode, the power loss emanates, and then heat always flows from the hotter part of the body to the colder portion. So the external ambient is the coldest portion, so the heat will start moving out to the ambient. So if you say the innermost part, the junction is at a junction temperature Tj and the ambient is at Ta. Ta can even be mean the room temperature. So this could be at somewhere between 25 and 50 degrees centigrade. Tj is the junction temperature, which can go even up to 150 degrees centigrade, but one should not go to such high junction temperatures. It will be on the verge of damaging the device. So it must be much lower than 150 degrees centigrade. Probably 120 degrees centigrade is what we may have to limit it. So this is the junction. So from this inner junction to the ambient, the heat flows, and our objective would be to enable this heat flow as quickly as possible out of the junction into the ambient. Then the junction can be maintained cooler. So to enable this, we have to make the impedance, the thermal impedance from the junction to the ambient as low as possible. So there exists an impedance which will not make the flow of heat energy, which will impede the flow of the heat energy. It will not make the flow of the heat energy instantaneous, and that is where our concerns come. So this flow of heat energy, the heat flow rate, heat is nothing but energy, heat flow rate is nothing but power, and that power is the power loss that we have calculated. So a value equivalent to what we have calculated is the power that is flowing, the flow rate, heat flow rate. Integral of the power loss dt is nothing but the heat energy that is removed over a period of time. So using this equivalence, we can have a electrical equivalent circuit that represents this thermal part. So let me have a current source here. So there is a current source. Now what is the value of the current source? We are talking about the heat flow rate. Heat flow rate is the one which is flowing out from that junction, which is at a potential, which is temperature of Tj. This heat has to flow. So let me use for this current the flow value of P loss for this current source. So a value of this P loss is flowing, and let me have this node. Node is the junction which is at Tj potential. There is an impedance. So the impedance to reach the ambient, and this ground, the circuit ground which I have called, which I have included here, is nothing but the ambient. So this is the equivalence that we have written down. So we'll call this as Ta ambient. We'll call this one as Tj, that this node is at temperature Tj, junction potential. And what is this? This has to be the resistance which is impeding the heat flow to the ambient, and we'll call that as theta Ja, thermal impedance junction to ambient. So this would be the electrical equivalent of the thermal aspect of this diode where the loss goes off into the ambient. We are leading the loss into the ambient. So at this point, good to just look at this circuit equivalent diagram and the actual thermal flow, and we can arrive at an analogy between the thermal and the electrical. So thermal electrical analogy. So let us say on one side I am writing down the electrical parameter, the other side the thermal. So in the electrical parameter, electric potential E. In the thermal, we will call it as temperature. The potential is equivalent to temperature in the thermal domain. That is T. It's either degree Kelvin or degree centigrade. Current I. So current which is flowing through in the electrical domain. So this we are calling it as a current, and what is that value equivalent to? Nothing but the power loss. So it is power. So in the thermal domain, what is flowing is power. What is the potential? Temperature. What is flowing? Power. This is nothing but heat flow rate. And then another parameter, important parameter, resistance. In the electrical domain, it is E by I, Ohm's law, which is R. In the thermal domain, what is potential? Temperature. So we will thermal resistance is R theta, which is equal to the potential divided by the flow. So T by watts power, which is degree Kelvin per watt or degree centigrade per watt. So this is the electrical thermal equivalence. If we put it in this electrical fashion, we being electrical engineers, it is much more easier for us to imagine, visualize the thermal aspect, and also to do the calculations and analysis. So that is why we prefer to put it in this equivalent form. Now consider this visualization where we have the heat flowing from the junction to the ambient, and we have represented it as a constant flow or a constant current block here with P loss as the value flowing through the junction and into the ambient with a thermal resistance R theta JA, or thermal resistance between junction and ambient. So let us calculate what is this R thermal junction ambient. So we saw the equivalence, thermal electrical equivalence. So it is nothing but the Ohm's law of the thermal, which is the temperature or temperature difference, which is the potential. In this case, what is the potential across the thermal resistance? Tj minus Ta. So Tj minus Ta divided by what is the flow through the thermal resistance, nothing but a flow equivalent to the value P loss, and we put P loss. And the units of the thermal resistance is degree Kelvin per watt, or because this is a difference in temperature, degree Kelvin minus degree Kelvin will be degree centigrade per watt. You could use either of these. This is the better way, degree Kelvin per watt, but several literature have used degree centigrade per watt also, because there is a difference in the temperature, it's delta T. So this is the value of the thermal resistance. Generally, the thermal resistance of the diode, the device, can be obtained from the data sheet. Its value from junction to case is given in the data sheet. You can read it off from that. P loss we estimate it from the electrical parameters, as we have done before, the switching and the conduction losses. T ambient is the external ambient, the maximum that it can go. So normally we take it as 50 degrees. Any part of the country doesn't go beyond 50 degrees. So this is normally the worst case value. And Tj is the junction temperature, the temperature at the junction that would be the limiting or the max junction temperature that you would want the device junction temperature to go desired. So if we write it in terms of the junction temperature, Tj, which is equal to Ta plus ambient temperature plus R theta JA into P loss. So this is the equation for the junction temperature. So normally we set the junction temperature. You can estimate the junction temperature in this way, but normally junction temperature is a design parameter. You will say that it should not exceed 120 degrees centigrade, and then which means that would get set. It's a specification. Then find out what should be the value of R theta JA and choose a device or choose the device with along with heat sink such that the R theta JA is less than that. So this is how one would go about choosing or selecting the thermal resistance or even estimating the junction temperature. Now this same thermal equivalent, let us slightly modify it. So I have this P loss current as a current source. This is the junction Tj having junction temperature. Now I have this resistance, thermal resistance up to case. So Tc is the case temperature. So this thermal resistance is from junction to case. So from junction to the outer case, and from case to the ambient there will be another thermal resistance. So this is Ta and this is Ta. So these are the potentials of the various node points in this thermal equivalent circuit. Junction temperature, case temperature, ambient temperature. So what is this? This is R thermal junction to case. This is R thermal case to ambient. So if you go by the same Ohm's law thermal equivalence, you have R thermal Jc plus Ca equals difference Tj minus Ta by P loss, or R thermal Ca is equal to R thermal Jc plus Tj minus Ta by P loss. So this is a design equation. T ambient known from specification maximum 50 degrees centigrade, P loss estimated from the electrical parameters, Tj design parameter, normally you will say 120 degree centigrade max, Tjc obtained from the data sheet of the diode, junction to case, and then you can estimate what should be the thermal resistance from case to ambient, and then you can use that value to choose a heat sink which has a lower value of the thermal resistance than what is calculated. So in this way you can choose a heat sink from the commercial set. There are a lot of commercial heat sinks available, and you can look at the data sheets of the heat sink. Then from this calculation you can make a selection. So this way a heat sink can be designed, selected, and then integrated with the diode. And it's very important. Thermal removal, thermal heat removal is a very, very important aspect of any power electronic equipment. Every switch has to be well thought out. You have to compute the thermal aspects properly. You have to calculate the loss that occurs within the device, within a switch. It could be a diode, it could be a BJT, it could be a MOSFET, any switch. You have to calculate the loss and then use the loss and then see that the thermal or the heat aspect is removed continuously by proper choice of heat sink, giving a good thermal impedance to the ambient.